So now we're going to get onto projectile motion, which is a kind of two-dimensional motion, but the object itself must be under the effects of gravity. So some examples are a frisbee, an ICBM, a bullet. So really anything that moves under the effects of gravity and in two spatial dimensions is considered a projectile. Usually in these questions we won't be specifying what the projectile is. It'll mostly be saying a projectile was fired from a point, blah blah blah. So how does one go about solving a projectile motion question? Well, here we go. When doing these kinds of questions, we must set up a table for the xy axis. So the acceleration along the y-axis is always negative g for the same reason as I've discussed before. The path of a projectile is a parabola. So the coefficient in front of the squared term must be negative. The acceleration along the x-axis is 0. The reason that is there's no force acting along the x direction for now. We won't actually be discussing what happens in drag situations. However, you are welcome to look that up. I might do a separate video at some point in the future discussing what happens with air resistance along this path. If there's no force, we'll find that there's no acceleration. This will be true. It will be a familiar statement once we get to forces. So your SUVAT table, your two-way SUVAT table, should look like this with your x and your y. So you have SX, UX, VX, AX, and T, and SY, UI, VY, AY, and T. So the next video is a sample, or the next two videos are samples of two very similarly styled, or two styles of projectile questions which are very popular.